Yep. We're supposed to go south to 4th Ilkard or something along those lines. Searching for the words of power.
Now you got me mad! I'm gonna rip your head off and make it mine!
Feel the chill touch of the grave!
Grizzly bear.
Death comes for us all!
These fights don't last all that long. Where is he going? Where are you going?
Die by my hand!
The criminal will die.
Comes for us all!
No. So close. 6 hit points. Why is he taking so much damage? No idea.
Is there something you need?
So there's no point in this entire map. So just something in between the camp and the fort. Yeah, I now recall better. We are supposed to get one of the Ilkard tribes who have joined the enemy to side with us again.
I'm gonna rip your head off and make it Now you got me mad!
Ilkard command post. And some kind of cave. Orc lair. Okay. This is probably one of the orc bandits. One of them was supposed to be south.
As certain as
I
death,
got...
the task is done. Feel the chill!
Nothing all that dangerous here. I suppose the orc champion could be considered dangerous, but it's not really.
Death comes for us all!
Harp of Pandemonium. That's the second Harp of Pandemonium I've seen in this
The
chapter.
task is done. It is death and damnation. The task is done.
Yeah, they can't really stand up to us, which is fine. That's fine. This is basically side mission trash fight, so I don't particularly care if these are a challenge or not. In many ways, it's easier if they're not much of a challenge. There's explosions of blood and bone. That's what these fights are. They boost ourselves.
The Silent Lord take you!
Boosts aren't for survival. They're so we can use the extra damage and not really suffer in any way. Yeah, we still have a fairly high attack modifier, even if we gimp our attacks with the power attack. Not that it matters. Will maybe get us through the fight a second faster or something like that.
It is certain as death itself. The task is done.
Still, ooh, Guzood. Possible. Okay, let's go with expertise first. It's not attacking us, so it's not. It's not that good. I'm not accepting surrenders. We always surrender. There's two reasons I don't accept surrenders. One is I don't think our character would. Another is it's developer is time to dump exposition dialogue on me, and I won't give them the opportunity. It's something about what the orcs do, without a doubt, or something like that. What does it matter? They're attacking our supply lines and we need to kill them, and that's it, pretty much. I don't care about their reasons.
Well met.
I am Ankas, a shaman of the Uthgard elk tribe. Thank you for saving me. I have many curative powers that are at your disposal. Are you in need of healing? The elk tribe has allied with Luskan and is now the enemy of Neverwinter. The elk tribe is no ally of Luskan. At least it was not when I left. I have been gone a long time. But Zokan would never join the evil of Luskan unless... Maybe Luskan offered a cure for the plague that ravaged my people. Perhaps in desperation Zokan joined them to save the tribe. Is it the Neverwinter plague or is it some other plague? Maybe I could find a way to cure the elk tribe of the plague. You should speak to Zokan. If he has formed an alliance with Luskan, however, elk warriors will attack you on sight. Take this feather token. When the guard at the elk tribe fort sees it on your person, he will know you come under a banner of peace. He will let you in to talk to Zokan, and you can avoid needless bloodshed. I, Ankas of the Uthgard elk tribe, owe you my life. Is there anything else I can do to repay you saving me? I could use some healing. Didn't bother to heal my body, but okay. Well, I'm the important guy anyway. So we can avoid some unnecessary fighting, which basically means nothing to us.
It is certain as death itself.
It's not like fighting
The
is a
task
problem
is
for
done.
us. And I don't think the game punishes me if I fight them, so
It is certain as death itself.
in practical
The task
terms,
is
it's
done.
us giving up a little bit of experience. And that's it. A chest of instant death, no?
It is certain as death itself. The task is done.
Silver necklace. Silver ring, boots of something, light crossbow. So money, 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 money. I can't see us spending too much money anymore. Easily 100,000 though. So might as well keep collecting it. But I think I'll scale down on the looting. We'll focus on the important stuff. Naturally we'll still open up chests and stuff. Just to see if there's items there. I don't think I'll bother with +1 items, for example, anymore. They aren't that expensive. They're usually about in the 500 gold range. Ruzon
Hey, what can
Vaughn.
I get ya?
Go on, leave us. Gondomir is dead, and the rest of us will follow him shortly. Leave me be. What are you doing here? Gondomir and I were wounded again during the fighting at the fort. They send us back to the well, and Nurik heals us. Then we come back and fight some more. I guess this is the last trip for Gondomir. He's dead. One of those barbarians got him with an arrow. I thought he'd make it, but I'm going to return the orchid. Because it might unlock other missions for us. More bounty hunting.
Greetings.
I have Guzut's head. So, you brought me a present, did you? And it isn't even my birthday. My soldiers could use a little pick-me-up. I'm going to mount Guzut's head on a stake outside the barracks. Here's the bounty on that bandit. 500 gold, just like I promised. You seem to have a real knack for hunting down orcs. I've got another job you might be interested in. One that pays pretty good. More than these other bounties, that's for sure. I'm interested. Glad to hear it, because we've got a real problem brewing here. King Obold Many Arrows is probably the most powerful orc chieftain in the entire north. According to a couple of those spies Aringent lent me, Obold has arranged a parley with the Luskan commanders. Dealing with orcish bandits is one thing, but Obold's tribe is a massive, highly efficient army. If he forms an alliance with Luskan, Neverwinter could be in real trouble. So what do you want me to do? I want you to bring me Obold's head on a platter. That should trigger a brutal power struggle as Obold's generals try to take the place of their fallen king. It'll keep the orcs busy for a few years and out of our hair. Only problem is no one knows where or when the meeting is supposed to happen. And Obold must be somewhere in the area, probably hiding out with his underguard in some stink-ridden cave. Find Obol's lair and kill him. Bring me his head and I'll give you 1,000 gold. And let those pesky Luskan dogs try to form an alliance with him then. I think it's important to actually get these quests. I'm sure you can go to the correct place where the guy is, and I'm sure he's actually there more or less at least. Where the hell is Nerd? But I don't think you can actually finish up the quest for one reason or another unless you actually have it first.
Hail to ye!
So now we're free to just find him wherever he is. 400 for teleportation. Well, it's not exactly a huge amount of money, but still a lot.
It cannot be done.
I greet you.
Should I go in now? Barracks, Settlers Barracks, Commander's Lodge. Commander Damas.
Hey, this is the commander's quarters. I don't want you enlisted men traipsing through... Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were one of my soldiers. Do please forgive my outburst. I would not have it said that Commander Damas is a man without class. How may I be of service to you?
Do you know why the Elk tribe has allied itself with Luskan? Who knows what those, how the minds of those animals work? They probably just saw a chance to kill and pillage and jump at it. Maybe you could negotiate a truce. How can you even ask that? The Uthgard are ruthless killers who prey on the weak and defenseless. They must be exterminated like the disease they are. Oh, there's nothing else. Maybe I could do something about those catapults. Tell you what, you go out and disable all 6 catapults attacking the 4th, and I'll make sure you get a healthy reward from the 4th Ilkard treasury. Now, if there's nothing else. So, murderize catapults. I can do that. I need to sort of move past them anyway to get to the Elk tribe, was it? Yep. Elk tribe warriors.
Get away from me!
Catapult commander.
Feel the chill!
One catapult down.
Feel the chill touch of the grave!
So that's half of the catapults gone.
Death comes for us all!
Get him!
It shall never fade! Evil is doomed!
else is doing much of a job. Sub-Chief Arnes.
Get him!
Whatever. At least he has a good weapon. And got a critical hit on us, so we lost half our health. Do you have a weapon for me? Could use a weapon. No. Well, we got his head apparently.
Hello.
The catapults have been destroyed. This is excellent news. Of course, I must assume that you are the one responsible for this. Therefore, you shall be the one receiving your reward. Here, 500 gold pieces for your act of wanton destruction. A fine payday, wouldn't you agree? If you desire even more gold, I have another job you might be interested in. The Uthgard siege is still a problem even without their catapults lobbing death from above. You could bring me the head of Arnes, the Uthgard sub-chief in charge of the siege. I stick his melon on a pole outside the gate, and the Uthgard will think twice before attacking Fort Ilkard again. I have the head of this sub-chief. Excellent. I will have this placed on a pole outside Fort Ilkard Gate at once. I have to admit, I didn't like your looks when I first saw you, but maybe I was wrong. After all, you've earned your reward. 500 gold pieces. Since you have proven yourself so useful already, there is something else I would ask of you. The best way to break the Luskan Elk Tribe alliance is to kill off the Uthgard chief, Zokan Thunderer. Without Zokan to guide them, the Elk Tribe will fall apart, and that will be the end of the alliance. Uthgard chief is holed up in an old fort just west of here. Damn coward hasn't come out in weeks. Bring me his head and I'll give you a fine reward. Now, there's nothing else. Okay, we have at least a couple of options then. If we can't get the Elk Tribe to join us, we can just kill the chief and we'll at least break their alliance with Luskan. Not quite as good as the first option, but did they actually plant? Yeah, his head is on a pole there. Lovely. So if we can't get a new ally to help us, we'll at least take out the Elk Tribe.
I'm gonna rip your head off and make it my puppet!
I think another build that would basically be very good in with a high damage weapon would be a paladin of sorts, because they have I think a lot of abilities that basically give you extra damage versus evil creatures if you use them. So you could potentially get a huge amount of base damage going for you that will get multiplied for the critical. The problem with those builds is that it's this. You basically have a basic warrior that it's not particularly smartly built, I think. We could have gone for Weapon Master earlier, so we could have get the Weapon Master benefits. Would have been, I think, a better choice. Point being, it doesn't matter. There's no real reason to go for it. Unless you're just curious how ridiculous of a critical hit you can get and how much damage you get from it. But it doesn't matter. I suppose in PvP, then it would matter. At the same time, the special abilities would be working against evil only, so maybe not a good choice there. Got a piece of paper. The text of this brief letter is written in plain and unremarkable script. Dearest Mathilda, I meant to send this note to offer you words of comfort, but even in a letter I cannot lie to you. In the morning I am being sent out on patrol to verify reports of a strange ruin found far to the south of Fort Ilkard, further south than even the newly settled homesteads and farmlands. The last 2 patrols sent out were set upon by the Ilkard and brutally slaughtered, and I fear I may never return from this mission. Yet I am more troubled by the ever-growing number of reports of defenseless settlers being butchered by the savages. I fear the homestead is no longer safe. You must take the children and flee Neverwinter as soon as you can. I would come to escort you myself, but Commander Damas has a heart of stone. He has ordered anyone caught leaving their post without authorization to be hung as a deserter without trial. All I can do is send this note and pray it reaches you before the Uthgard will. Love, Willem. Yes, he must have a heart of stone because he kills deserters and traitors. Probably these people are just conscripted, given armor and weapons and told to fight. I would guess they have little understanding how an army works, and more importantly, how it cannot possibly work. If people can just leave and go on vacation when they feel like it, it's not gonna work. Which probably, in the long run, causes the least amount of harm if everyone just more or less does their duty. Depends on the leaders, though. Ooh, people! Yeah! Hello, people! Please help us! The Uthgard attacked our caravan! How did you survive? We heard their war cries and we were able to run off before they found us. But we had to leave our wagons behind and they looted our goods. We need someone to help us repair our caravan. Oh no. The Uthgard are back. Run for your life! Running.
Now you got me, man!
Hurt me not!
The merchants had a death wish, I guess. At least the other one seems to be okay.
Hello.
Thank you for saving us from those savages. Forget about the caravan, I'm getting out of here. Sensible man. Your hope was to move past them without getting attacked. If you're getting attacked, just save yourself. It's not exactly a fighting group. destroyed homestead. Yeah, everyone's dead. Built in their beds. I don't think this journal is gonna be a fun read. Tome of Robes. It's you can create crystal robes. Yeah, I'm not interested. Bloodstains the cover and many of the pages of this diary. Most of the entries are written in a firm, bold hand and describe day-to-day activities of a settler family as they work the fields and tilt the land. Final entries written in a finer script. Ilkard fell upon us as we were working in the fields. There was no warning, and we can find no reason for the sudden attack. Father stumbles when an arrow took him in the leg, but while the savages hacked away at his fallen form, Mother and I escaped to the homestead and barred the doors. Yeah, that'll work. There is no escape for us now. Barbarians have the home surrounded. Soldiers at Fort Ilkard are too far away to arrive in time to save us, and I fear our neighbors are already dead. I can only pray that when the savages break through the doors, our deaths will be merciful and quick. Well, got to look at the positive side of things. What drive food? Huh.
Do business to you.
I hope my husband returns soon. Ekla handled all the business of the family. I don't know anything about running a farm. This is terrible. Yeah, she's taken the attempted murder quite well, actually, by turning invisible and talking about business. Where is your husband? All the able-bodied men in the area were conscripted into the army at Fort Ilkard. They're all stuck there defending the fort until this war with Luskan is over. Luskan forces are pillaging all the farms around here. You have to leave for your own safety. Don't worry, I can take care of myself. I used to do my share of adventuring before I met Ekal, and we decided to retire to this farm. I still remember a few tricks of the trade. I'll be going. Off you go then. Be careful with all those Luskan raiders roaming the countryside. She at least seems to know more or less what she's doing. But even if she's an adventurer, she's not gonna survive if there's any kind of concentrated attack on this area. So, just because you have some skill isn't exactly a guarantee of safety.
Blood and bone!
I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of these special abilities. These that basically you have to click to activate and keep on. The one-use abilities are fun. They work just as you expect. You click a button and when you have free action available, use them. But these, for example, this power attack. If I activate it now, it can turn off pretty much every time the next fight ends automatically. And I don't know why. Why would you want to do that? I mean, yeah, he activates automatically. I guess if there's no fight going and I move, deactivate. I mean, why would you do that? What's the possible benefit to gain from that? it just makes it so hard to use these abilities, because every time I want to do something, I have to click it instead of just clicking it and keeping it on until I want it off. That's why I'm not a huge fan of using them. It's more of a, if they were more convenient to use, I'd probably use them more. It's not a big deal because you can tie them to quick keys, but maybe the first 4 keys are fairly easy to use in each line, then you'll have to move your hand more and more and more. It becomes more and more bothersome to use them. Starts not to really be worth it. Plague victims. You don't mind that I loot these?
Greetings.
You come bearing an Ilkard token of peace. You wish to negotiate with the people of the Ilk? I wish to speak with your chieftain, Zogan Thunderer. You have come under a banner of peace, and you look like a noble and trustworthy man. Go speak with Zogan. His rooms are in the center of the keep. You'll need to take the east corridor to get there. Well, to be fair, we aren't that bad. We're evil, sure, but we have tended in general to keep to our agreements, so we're not chaotic by any means. We're just aren't particularly good. Center of the keep. Go to east until you get.
I greet you.
Center. It's not that tough.
I am Zokan, Thunderer, leader of my tribe, the people born of the Ilk. Who are you that comes before me?
Prick Killer. Why have you come, Prick Killer? My people wither and die, young and old alike. The wailing death ravages my tribe, and even our strongest warriors cannot stand against it. This is a place of death. Soon we shall all be infected, and we have come here to die. I ask you again, why have you come to this doomed fort? Usam, Druid of the Grove, has sent me to find why you have allied with Luskan. The wailing death is among my people. Men of Luskan come to me. They promise to heal my people. That is why we allied with them, but they spoke false. They have no cure. My people are doomed. But now we fight with Luskan for another reason. Revenge. Revenge against the Lord Alliance and the man they sent to command Fort Ilkard, a man called Damas. Why do you want revenge on him? Damas is the one who has infected us with the Wailing Death. We thought him a friend, but he only wants the Elk tribe gone so he can steal our land. He offered us a gift of blankets, but he had secretly infected them with the plague. Damas knew how quickly the plague could spread. No doubt he has a cure in his possession in case his own people become infected. We attack Fort Ilkard to try and recover the cure Damas will not give us. If I bring you the cure, will you break your alliance with Luskan? The fate of my tribe is my greatest care. Cure us of Wailing Death and the Elk tribe will no longer serve the Luskan forces. We will even forget our hatred and desire for vengeance against Commander Damas. I'll do it. Damas will deny everything. You must take these blankets as proof of his crime. They are harmless now. The plague cannot spread after a few days, but the blankets are what killed my people. If you truly intend to help the Elk tribe, you will go to Fort Ilkard and get the plague cure from Damas. I wish you luck, Killa, for the sake of my people. Well, this is a depressing place. Dead people all around. Yeah, this should be a fairly simple jump. Gonna go talk to Damas, get the cure. Assuming he's responsible, he certainly has the attitude toward these that would make it believable. However, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily guilty of the act. Someone might have lied. So let's see what we can find out first. Either way, getting the cure seems a good solution. We're probably going to get basically an extra ally, weaken the enemy. And if Damas is actually responsible, he's knowingly sabotaging our own war effort for personal gain. Yeah, you can be an evil commander, I'm more or less fine with that, but if you're undermining the actual war effort, that's a traitorous act, and I'll not stand for it.
Hello.
You contaminated the Earth tribe with these plague-infected blankets. So what if I did? Ilkard are nothing but primitive savages. Their time is over. We have the strength to remove them from their land, and that gives us the right to remove them. Those blankets change nothing. We are at war here. The Ilkard are the enemy, or did you forget that? They allied themselves with Luskan. The only reason the Elk tribe joined the Luskan is because they were promised a cure for the plague you gave them. You don't actually believe that, do you? You think if I hand over the cure, the Elk tribe will suddenly abandon their Luskan allies? Not that I have a cure on me. I know you have the cure. Now hand it over. Okay, let's not do anything crazy. You attack me and every soldier in this fort will come to the defense of their commander. I'm a reasonable man. Tell you what, I'll sell you the cure for 3,000 gold. I sort of naturally want to kill the bastard. However, you can't just... If I kill him, he's probably right, the soldiers under his command will attack me and I'll have to kill them too. So this is just more infighting. At the same time, if I kill a commander, things rarely go smoothly. Yeah, there's a chain of command and all that, but that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be disruptions, serious ones. Damas certainly deserves death, but for the good of the war effort, might be better if we just don't cause a fuss. 3,000 to us is nothing. However, if it's not the plague blanket, it's going to be something else, isn't it? I wish there was someone I could report Commander Damas to. At the same time, I don't particularly care about the elk tribe, so thank you. I care in the sense that how it affects the war effort, so we can. His hatred of them will culminate in something, but probably with this we can prevent it from affecting this war. If I was the commander of this army, Commander Damas would be dead. Take your gold. I knew we could work this out. Here's the cure. If you change your mind and decide you'd rather exterminate these Uthgard after all, just bring me back the head of their leader. Not the most. Well, you never get their best solutions. I'm not that keen on delivering justice either, that I want to necessarily murder the man. It gains us nothing, really. Might weaken our position. Although I don't see, or rather I don't know, how the situation is compromised here if we kill the commander, but at the same time remove the threat from the elk tribe. For now, this will do. This will do. I think we'll be going, yeah, we'll continue further south pretty much immediately. It has nothing to do with the word power, so there has to be another fairly sizable area somewhere.
My people wither and die from the plague. If they are not cured, the name of Zokan Thunderer will be remembered as the Uthgard chieftain who could not save his tribe from extinction.
I have the cure for the plague right here. Take it to heal your people. I thank you for this. With this cure, my shamans will heal our tribe. You have saved the people of the Elk. We are children of the land. We have no gold or treasure to give. But take this spear. It is treasure of the Elk tribe, long handed down from father to son among us. You have earned it by saving us from the terrors of the Wailing Death. Thanks. Take this token to Usam, the druid in Beruna's well, as a promise that we will no longer join the Luskan forces against them. Go with the blessing of the Elk. Level up. We should gain nothing new. Yes, level 5, where something interesting starts to happen. 80 points. That's pretty much all we get from this.
Welcome, my child. Do you bring me news of the Uthgard elk tribe? Or is there some other purpose to your visit?
Zokan, leader of the Elk tribe, asked me to show this dream catcher to you. I recognize this Elk Tribe token. It is a symbol of our truth and contrition. Must mean that Zokan is apologizing for what his tribe has done. Will send my emissaries at once to re-establish relations with the Elf people. You have done as I asked, my child, and investigated this matter for me. As such, you have earned your reward. Got a ring. Do not have much to give, but please accept this ring for your efforts. So what exactly did we get? Some kind of an amazing ring. Looks like elemental resistance ring. So it's not bad, but it's not really worth anything either. Worth money, not particularly useful for us at this point.
Hail to ye!
The metal resistance is worth 7,000. Boots of Reflex plus 2. Uthgard Ceremonial Spear. Plus 3, plus 4 versus Giants, massive criticals. It's fairly valuable. Still, we don't want it. 100,000 gold again. I'll buy a couple of healing potions. I want to, I'm not, I don't replenish my stock all that often. We should have 7 healing potions. You can find a few of them, probably on higher levels. But enough that we can heal myself and my companion. There. How about Grimgnaw?
Is there something you need?
You should be able to continue your story. Before an initiate cannot be accepted into the order, they must first learn to appreciate the beauty of death. We must walk the ceremonies, cemeteries, and graveyards in search of this beauty. We must live and dwell amongst the dead and dying. We must surround ourselves with that which others consider gruesome or macabre. For many, this is the easiest part of our training. I myself was already enraptured with the corpses of the battlefields. I already understood the perfect truth of their deaths. The next phase of our training is to understand the tools the Silent Lord uses to prepare us for death. Pain, suffering, sorrow, agony. We participate in the torture of victims. We witness the sweet release they achieve when they succumb to death. And then we subject ourselves to the same torments as our victims. We taste the pain and suffering as it burns away that part of us which clings to the mortal world. You subject yourself to torture. Only through experiencing such pain can we understand how it prepares us to kneel at the altar of the Silent Lord. Pain is of this world, but it can release us to the next. The Silent Lord claims many during this stage of the initiation, those whom he has chosen to yet serve him in this world. Those who survive continue their training. In the next stage of our initiation, we must become true servants of the Silent Lord. We must murder 3 people, a rich old man, a poor young woman, and a newborn child. Why does it have to be those specific 3 victims? I slayed a rich old man, a poor young woman, and a newborn. We learn that all of us are subject to the Silent Lord. Male, female, young, old, rich, poor. Death has dominion over us all. Next we must face the wheel. A simple test, but one which delivers more initiates to the hands of the Silent Lord than any other. The wheel teaches us that the Silent Lord chooses at his pleasure, not ours. We are subject to whims and chance. Death is random. How does the wheel work? The wheel is made of alternative white and black squares. If the point stops on a white square, we move on to the final initiation. If it stops on a black square, we are slain on the spot. I'd watch that Wheel of Fortune. When I began the initiation there were 6 of us seeking to enter the order. 2 died in the torture racks. 1 was captured and after murdering a wealthy elderly merchant and hung. That left 3 of us to face the wheel. I alone survived to face the final challenge. What was the final challenge? Yeah.
Is there some...
Yep, we need another level up for that, I guess. We're definitely gonna get it since we're still lacking 2 words of power, so yeah, we're gonna get to level 15 at least. If we're lucky, a little bit above that, maybe not to level 16. I guess we'll probably end up the game with 17, maybe 18. There is a chapter after this, but I think it's a bit shorter, more condensed. We could do a little bit of a quest here. Yeah, Echo, the halfling woman's husband.
Greetings!
I may just be a simple gnome, but Commander Damas doesn't have the right to treat me like this. What a pompous, self-absorbed jerk. You really don't like Damas. Can you blame me? I finally get enough money to retire and buy a nice little homestead in the country, and then bam, I get conscripted into his army. Now he won't even let me return home. I've got to get buyers lined up for my crops. If I don't sort it out soon, I'm going to lose a fortune, and it will all be because of that jerk Damas. Anything I can do? Nothing you can really do unless you want to buy several hundred bushels of turnips. Wait a minute. There is something you can do. I could write up a note with instructions for my wife and a list of all the buyers she has to get in touch with to sell our crop. You could deliver the note for me. What's in it for me? I didn't really think my valuables would be much use in a war, so I left them all back in the homestead. But if you deliver the note, my wife will make sure the effort is worth your while. Fine. Thanks. This will save me a bundle. Take this note back to my wife and she'll know what to do. Don't worry, I put down that she should give you a substantial reward for this. Yeah, I know where your farm is. I doubt this is all that valuable as valuable as the quest. But it'll wrap up things nicely here. Should be a path south from this map. This has to be that road. So we'll wrap things up here and then go after the word power.
Good business to you.
I have a note here from your husband. A note from Ilkard. May I see it? This looks like his signature, alright. Here's a list of buyers for our crops. I can't thank you enough for delivering this note. It says here Ilkard promised you a reward. How does 300 gold pieces sound? That's fine. Take the gold with my thanks. You've earned it. Without this note, I wouldn't have had a clue where to begin unloading these turnips. We would have been ruined. Minor task, but it was the equivalent of killing a boss, so as far as experience points are concerned. And it doesn't exactly take that much of a time to complete anyway. So, to the south there is a word of power somewhere. This doesn't go anywhere. Where does this southern road even go? Ruins. The ruins. Well, that explains it.